Well, good morning. How y'all doing on this Father's Day? Can y'all stand on your feet and worship with us? I heard an old story about Savior came from glory. How he gave his life at Calvary to save a wretch like me. Heard about him rolling of his precious blood that's on me. Then I repented of my sins and won the victory. Say out. Victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He saw me and he bought me with his redeeming blood. He is not the air I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory, beneath the cleansing blood. You are the undefeated one, my life and my salvation. When the wicked, my enemies and my foes came upon me and eat of my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Omnipotent, almighty, defender, my victory, my refuge, the one I run into. You are the God, you are the God of the breakthrough. Yes, you are. Sing breakthrough, breakthrough. You are the God of the breakthrough. But when I can't see my way through, and I really don't know what to do, I run to you, breakthrough. Walls fall down when I shout through, strongholds break when I break through. So I'm gonna praise you. You are the God, you are the God of the breakthrough. Yeah. You are the God of breakthrough. Sing this out, say, breakthrough in my heart, breakthrough in my mind, breakthrough in my spirit, breakthrough in my soul, breakthrough in my weakness, breakthrough in my struggle. You are the God, you are the God of breakthrough in my worship, breakthrough in my praise, breakthrough when I live to glorify your name, breakthrough when I dance, breakthrough when I shout. You are the God, you are the God of the breakthrough in my heart, breakthrough in my mind, breakthrough in my spirit, breakthrough in my soul, breakthrough in my weakness, breakthrough in my struggle. You are the God, you are the God of the breakthrough in my worship, breakthrough in my praise, breakthrough when I live to glorify your name, breakthrough when I dance, breakthrough when I shout. You are the God, you are the God of the breakthrough. You are the God of the breakthrough. When I can't see my way through, and I really don't know what to do, I look to you, breakthrough. Oh, when I shout through, strongholds break when I break through. So I'm gonna praise you. You are the God, you are the God of the breakthrough. Come on, somebody lift the shout. You know that's true this morning. Amen, amen. We serve a powerful God. It's something to celebrate, amen. But if you would on this Father's Day, go greet a few people. Tell them that you love them this morning.
not only are we going to honor you today, but also I'm just expecting a great, great time together. Just believing that the Lord has some things He wants to say and do. Anytime His people get together, I think He loves to hover and brood and just move and work among us. And so I'm expecting that today. As we get started, I do want to honor our dads. And I say we, the church family, want to honor you. You remember on Mother's Day, the way we did that is we gave out some gift cards. With the dads, we thought we would give each of you today a flower. So Mike well, no, we didn't do that. No. We didn't do that. No. We decided that probably the quickest way to your heart is through your stomach. And so we've got some gift cards I think that you're going to enjoy getting your hands on. We've got a couple of them that we're going to give out. And I kidded at Mother's Day that it felt a little bit like a church raffle. And if you'll just pardon me and give me about 3 minutes today, that's the only way I know to do it. But we do want to just let each of our dads know how much we appreciate you. When you came in, you should have gotten a ticket. Does every dad in the place have a ticket? Because if you were given a ticket and you have it, I have the other side of it here, which means you are eligible. Anybody that needs a ticket? Any of our dads that need a ticket? All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and just say shut, guys. All right, first dad we're going to recognize is 587779. It's probably good that you didn't chew, that you weren't the one pulling like Mother's Day. All right, our second person we want to honor this morning is 587776. 76. Next person is...
you saw what he just did, right? Before he called us.
7784. 7784. You gotta be kidding. This ain't the way this is supposed to work. Thank you. All right.
8-1.
8-1. All right. Last card we have is 7773. 7773. Let's give all of our dads. We love and appreciate it.
You didn't go one over here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. All right. I don't even know what to say about that. A couple of things in your bulletins. But I do appreciate, and we appreciate all of our dads. And thank you so much. I am going to actually, this morning, the sermon is going to relate to fatherhood. And so I'm going to talk a lot more about that later. So I won't say any more than that now, except to say that we do love and appreciate all of you, your hard work, your sacrifice, and your willingness to be the spiritual head of your home and lead the way. Thank you so much. But anyway, we love each of you. The four that we're able to recognize, but we love and appreciate all of you. You got your bulletin this morning. There's a bunch of stuff in there. There's a couple of things that I wanted to mention. I wanted to congratulate Art and Joyce. Today's their anniversary, so congratulations. You noticed in your bulletin, though, just remember our youth services on Wednesday night and our class in here. The ladies' class has kind of merged in here for the summer, and then probably when school starts back, we'll start with another ladies' study. But I hope everyone will continue to come if you've been coming on Wednesday night. And if you haven't, try to make it a part of your week. I promise you, you will be encouraged, and it will be a blessing to you. Deacons, you remember that we've got a meeting tomorrow night. The Braves game is a biggie. If you order ordered tickets, we've got those tickets. If you have any questions about the Braves game for next Saturday afternoon, please see Ron Goss and he can get it straightened out. But we're super excited about a great time of fellowship and hopefully a big win. Remember also our Christian concert series. The next three groups that we have coming are listed here. The one that is nearest us is Brooke Simpson on July the 14th. You'll notice the sign out front saying that. We'll have the banners back up downtown. Many of you were here for the other week, couple of weeks. Was that last week? Boy, time flies. That was last week, man. Okay. And you were a part of the service here. Many of you were there on Saturday night. We had a great time of fellowship. So I hope that you'll make plans to be a part of that on July 14th. Invite everybody you know. And we're just going to have a great, great time together. I know many of our young people have also signed up for the Forward Conference. And I think you guys have got that all worked out. So anyway, we're excited about that. By way of prayer request, a couple of things that I wanted to mention. Lola texted me this morning and said that Larry was really in a lot of pain this morning. He's been really having some physical health issues, and so let's remember Larry this morning. Also, Melanie's grandson, Brody, really needs our prayers. This little guy is just a couple of weeks old, and he's got some major, major complications, and they're actually have him on the heart transplant list now, so they're just kind of prayerfully waiting, believing God to work a miracle. So let's just agree with him and just believe together with that precious family. And then also, Ronnie texted me just a little bit ago and said that he met someone in the airport as they were leaving this morning who is a group from Open Tabernacle Church in Marietta who are on their way to Mexico. And they're going on a mission trip and just ask us to remember them. So let's just be praying for that group. And then also, let's remember Melvin this morning who was under the weather, not feeling good. And so let's just continue to hold him up in prayer. You may have unspoken requests that you want to give up just with a lifted hand this morning. If so, do that now. Look, just take a second. Hold those hands good and high. Look around the room. It's not, and I'm having you look around not because, not because we want to be overwhelmed. Oh my goodness, all of these, but it's just to understand that brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters, are going through some stuff, aren't they? I mean, they're facing some challenges. We're facing challenges. And the takeaway is for us to understand that God is with us through it all. That He is more than capable. He is the God, as we sang a minute ago, of breakthroughs. He's the God that can speak the word. But it's also a reminder to you that you're not alone. And I want you to hear me say that this morning. And even more importantly, I want you to hear the Spirit say that this morning. That you're not alone. You're not going through it by yourself. So I want us this morning to just agree together in prayer. Before our ushers come and as they prepare to come, but before they come, I want us to just open up with prayer this morning. Can we do that? It's not something we do just to check off of our checklist. It's truly a time where we, the people of God, come together and believe God for these needs. So whatever your need, situation, circumstance, if the person next to you had their hand raised a moment ago, just take your hand and lay over on their shoulder and specifically pray about and for that person. Would you do that for me this morning? Father, in Jesus' name today we come, and what an honor and a privilege and a blessing it is to come into your gates with thanksgiving and into your courts with praise. To come into this place today and be convinced, God, that you have our best interest at heart and that you are the God of the breakthrough who can move the mountain, Lord, but you're also the God who can give us grace and strength to walk through every challenge. So, Lord, I pray today for those that are sick in body. I pray that you'd bring healing. I pray for Larry. I pray for Melvin. God, I pray for sweet Brody, that you would just touch them, God, and physically bring healing to their bodies, even as we agree together and speak right now. For every hand that was raised that represented a physical need in their body, I pray that you would touch them and bring healing. For those that are discouraged and downtrodden, Lord, would you just encourage them and strengthen them today? For those that are facing financial circumstances and situations, and God, they need a miracle, I pray, Lord, that you would just come alongside them and do this, the extraordinary and the supernatural. God, I pray for this missions group that is on their way to Mexico. And God, they're going and their lives are going to be changed. And I pray, God, that even as they go to help, Lord, that you will in turn just reach into their lives and change them and work in them. And Lord, that your family, these groups that are being brought together in this moment, Lord, will just be reminded that we are your sons and daughters. So, Lord, I pray be honored and glorified today. In all that's given, in all that's done, Lord, may you receive the honor and the glory and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen. As my ushers are coming forward, let me say again how much I appreciate your faithfulness. I appreciate those who've been bringing extra supplies for the backpack buddies, those that have been donating money toward it. We appreciate so much your faithfulness in giving, and God honors that. God will bless you for that. So we just prayed, if my ushers will go ahead and let's receive the offering.
Yeah. makes me wanna shout. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Lord, you're worthy of all the glory and all the honor and all the praise. It makes me wanna shout. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Lord, you're worthy of all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. It makes me wanna shout. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. We look to you this morning, Lord. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. And I will love you, Lord, my Savior. And I will love you, Lord, my King. And I will love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, I will love you, Lord. I just what to do. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You're where my help is from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. I will love you, Lord, my strength. I will love you, Lord, my shield. I love you, Lord, my rock. Sing, I will love you. Yes, I will love you.
Father, we delight this morning that we can call you Father. We cry, Abba, Father. We've been given the spirit of adoption, whereby the spirit of fear can't reside in us. We've been given the spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. So, Father, on this day that we honor fathers, Lord, we look to you as our heavenly Father, and we thank you. We praise you. Lord, we declare that all that you have given to us, Lord, all that you've entrusted to us, we'll hang on to, we'll walk in, we'll live in, and we'll continually have a spirit of gratitude and thanksgiving toward you for it. In Jesus' name, amen, 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 amen. You can be seated if you want to. The children may be dismissed at this time if they haven't already, and hopefully they haven't. Well, I'm going to ask you this morning to smile. Smile though your heart is breaking. Smile though your heart is aching. Does that sound familiar? Learn that song from her. And we appreciate so much our musicians and the wonderful job that you guys do. Thank you so much. I was contemplating, thinking about the fact that on Father's Day, it evokes so many different emotions depending on where you come from. I was thinking about how Father's Day for most of us is a day where we honor fathers in general, but we also become reflective. If you are currently a father yourself, you think about the impact of your father, you think about the kind of father you are, and then if you're real imaginative in your thinking, you may even think ahead to your son and how the father he's going to be. And my son, as you know, he and his precious wife Sutton are going to have a baby, a little girl, they're telling us, Mercy James, at the end of August. So I'm going to be Pawpaw. I'm hoping she calls me Pops, but we'll see how that goes. We'll just see. But I think about where I came from in terms of the example that I was given in terms of what fatherhood was. And you have heard me talk a little bit about that, and I may even refer to it this morning. I think about the ways in which I feel like I could have done better myself, but also the ways in which fatherhood healed me. And then I think about the joy at the end of August of watching my son experience what for guys is one of the greatest possible things there are beyond experiencing salvation and God sending you a wife, is to experience fatherhood, is to look in the eyes of your child and realize that what an extraordinary thing that is. And I'm just so thankful for that. So I want to talk this morning a little bit, and I just called it simply a Father's Day exhortation. Just some things I want you to think about, I want us to talk about, and I just want to share with you a little bit this morning about the power of fatherhood. When you look in the Scriptures, the power of fatherhood is evident. I was going through and I was noticing where the Scripture talked about the fatherless. And I've quoted that verse so many times about, pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is to visit the widows and the fatherless and those that are in prison and all that kind of stuff. And I really had just kind of bounced by this idea of fatherlessness being right up there at the top. We talked about absentee fathers today, and we talk about the impact that it's had on our society. But it's interesting that God in His Word already identified the fact that there are things that are transferred, that are given. There are things that happen through the context of having a father in your life that are extraordinary things. You see what I'm saying? It's a beautiful piece of the puzzle. And so when you're thinking about fatherlessness, there's something that is important that happens when a person grows up and they're fatherless. I believe, though, for us in the body of Christ, in the church, it's a powerful opportunity for men in the church to minister to those who may have grown up in a fatherless situation. My father, when I was 21, my father was present, but he was absent. My father was tormented, I believe, in many ways. There was a period of time in my life where the treatment that my father gave my sister and I, and particularly my mom, there was a period of time where it made me angry. And I think in my youth, it just made me angry. There was a part of me that looked back and thought, why in the world did I not do something about the situation that was going on? How in the world did I let him treat my mom that way? There's a certain sense of guilt even that can come along, I think, in the heart of a man in terms of seeing that and experiencing that. But my father, when I was 21, looked me in the face, and he was angry at me at the time. And he looked at me and said, from this day forward, he said, you don't have a dad. He said, if anybody asks you who your father is, I'm dead to you, so you tell them you don't have one. And there's something that does. There's something that triggers. There's something inside you, I think, that really, really, really gets deeply impacted. And you stow that away and you put that places. And I remember when the Lord spoke to me. He spoke to me so clearly, and He said to me, I'm going to heal you of that, and through that, I'm going to heal you when you hold your son. And I remember the time leading up to Noah being born, and I remember just the belief, the trust that God had made that promise to me that when I held my son in my hands, a lot of that anger and stuff was just going to melt away. And I'm telling you, as I'm standing here, it did. There's few things really nothing, I guess, that I've done in my life that I'm any more proud of than being a father to a wonderful son and a beautiful daughter. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I enjoyed really the most, I really didn't care if people knew my name because I was known as Lydia's dad, and that was fine with me. I was Noah's dad. I'm cool with that. Any parents identify with that, fathers identify with that, that's cool. You don't have to know my name. I'm Noah's dad. I'm Lydia's dad. But I remember holding Noah, and then subsequently, a couple of years later, holding Lydia, and I remember how so much of that anger just kind of melted away, and it became sadness. It became brokenness. Because what I realized is that my father had spent my entire young part of my life, he had spent that entire part of the life not only being tormented himself, but not loving and enjoying being a father. And I just got sad for it. My heart broke for him. I thought, of all the things that I've enjoyed, fatherhood is right up there at the top, and he never enjoyed it. He never embraced it. We were a chore. We were a headache. We were something to be dealt with. We were something that was always going to push his button. And no matter how good you tried to act or things you tried to do, there was just this. I remember before my graduation, and listen, this isn't a pity party. I'm going somewhere with this, so hang with me, okay? This isn't me just wallowing on Father's Day, because I've got so much to be thankful for. But I remember before graduation, well before graduation, him calling me into the kitchen and looking at me and saying, I won't be at your graduation. I'm not coming and I'm not going to your sister's. And by that point in my life, he had been so absent, in the house but absent, there was a sense inside of me that really, if I'm being honest, I just said inside my heart, good. I'm glad, because the grief that you would create by being there, I just don't need that, so fine. But when you look back and you think about moments like that, I also look at the redemptive work of God and the grace of God that was at work in my life long before that. Because had I grown up believing that that was the epitome of manhood or fatherhood, I would have really had my back against the wall. It would have been very difficult. And I realize that lots of young men come into fatherhood and they've had no redemptive model maybe there. But I did. And again, I'm not trying to be over dramatic or anything, but he's sitting here in the room. That man on the back row saved my life and he didn't even know it. Because I would go to my Uncle Mike's house and I would watch the way that a real man acted. I would watch the way he treated his wife. I would watch the way he worked and sacrificed and loved God. And he was the epitome of a man.